Will the market go up or down? Should you lock in or float? Find out this and more with Master of the Markets, hosted by Barry Habib of MBS Highway. Brought to you by Paramount Residential Mortgage Group.
Progress is not possible without change, and PRMG is devoted to providing our wholesale partners across the nation with the best combination of products, pricing, technology, and service. Get approved with PRMG today.
Welcome to another edition of Master of the Markets. I'm Barry Habib at MBS Highway. This is created exclusively for Mortgage News Network and brought to you by our good friends at PRMG. They're always working for your best interest. So we saw rates move up last week, and what we want to talk about today is why are they moving up and where are they going to go from here? So it's not just last week that we've seen them move. We've seen them kind of move up ever so slightly over the last few weeks, and people are asking, why is this happening? So let's examine that. So we did get a little bit of news last week that was not necessarily exactly bond friendly, but it was already baked into the cake that the move was going to already be higher. But on Friday, adding a little bit of added concern for the bond market was the Consumer Price Index, or the CPI report, which showed that the rate of inflation on the core level, which strips out food and energy prices, moved up on a year-over-year basis slightly from 1.7 to 1.8. It was interesting because the headline number actually moved down from 2.2 to 2.1%, but the bond market really was already in a bad mood and just trying to point to anything that would push yields higher. Interestingly enough, we had some good treasury auctions last week on both the 10-year note and the 30-year bond. At the higher yields that we've seen, a little bit more appetite, so that helped to keep yields from getting too crazy. But why are yields moving up? Now, it does have to do with the Fed, but it's not in the way that most people think about. Most people think, well, the Fed's going to hike rates and this and that. Yes, expect maybe a couple of rate hikes during 2018, starting in March, but the real reason why we're seeing rates move up is because the Fed is buying less mortgage bonds and less treasuries. So we've talked about this in the past, but it really is good to kind of review this again. Now, through the quantitative easing measures over the years, the Fed's accumulated quite a bit of mortgage bonds and treasuries on their balance sheet. How much? $4.5 trillion. It's an unbelievable amount of money. 1.8 trillion in mortgage bonds, 2.7 trillion in treasuries. Now, what would normally happen, you do somebody's refinance, they pay their loan down, the Fed would get that money, and they would have a little bit less that they're holding. People sell their home, pay their loan off, the Fed gets that money, they'd be holding a little bit less. Or even the monthly payments, which amount to quite a bit, the principal portion would add up to quite a bit, and the Fed's balance sheet would get reduced. But what the Fed's not doing is they're not letting it come down or holding less. The Fed's taking that money and buying back treasuries, buying back mortgage bonds, with what they receive in proceeds from each respectively. How much? Well, in the past, it's been about $25 billion a month, making the Fed the largest buyer of mortgage bonds. Now, they're doing even more than that in buybacks of treasuries, but we'll just keep them separate for a minute. So on the $25 billion in mortgage bonds, what they decided to do starting in October is they said, hey, look, we're just going to, instead of buying back everything, which comes out to around $25 billion a month, we're going to buy back everything except $4 billion a month. So they're going to curtail it back. And if you notice, since October, rates have gotten just a little bit worse. The Fed's not buying as much. Starting January, they ramped that up to saying, instead of buying back everything minus $4 billion, it's everything minus now $8 billion a month. So they're roughly buying about $17 billion a month in mortgage bonds. And they've cut back their purchases of treasuries instead of $4 billion, which is mortgage bonds. That's actually $6 billion started in October, and they ramped that up to $12 billion curtailment in January. So they're buying less. In March, they're going to ramp it up even more, where mortgage bonds will go to currently not buying back $8 billion to $12 billion, and treasuries, which are 12, will go to $18 billion curtailment. So what's going to happen is you're going to see a little bit more pressure on yields. Now, other things can affect interest rates, certainly, but it seems that the bond market is responding. Interest rates are responding to the Fed being a little bit less active, and we're starting to see rates move up. Now, there's some important levels that I want you to look at. On the 10-year Treasury, a real important one is 2.635 on the 10-year Treasury note. We came pretty close to it last week and tested it almost. Why we want to look at this is because this level has been around for 3.5 years, and it's been tested a few times throughout the years, and it's held as kind of a ceiling. And from that point, we've seen yields get better. Now, if we break above this barrier, it'll be the first time in a long time that we will have, and chances are we'll get up to about 3.04% on the 10-year Treasury. That's a worrisome sign. That'll cause mortgage rates to move up even from these levels about another 0.3% or so. So we really want to take a close look at that level if it gets tested this week, which it very well may, as an important line in the sand. Okay, and if you aren't already on MBS Highway, I mean, what the heck are you waiting for? You need to be advising your clients. And I know some people say, hey, you know what, I just lock everybody. Well, look, like it or not, the fact of it is you're forced to make a decision, lock or float. Either or is as much of a gamble. But it's interesting, as rates go up, people say, oh, I've locked everything. Where are you when rates were going down? Were your customers thrilled? And then I hear people say, well, it's too late for them to back out. Well, maybe it's too late for them to back out, but it's not too late for them not to send you a referral or come back and do business with you. Look, do you want to be a robot or you want to be an advisor? And if you want to be an advisor, you have to understand the market and help your customer make better, more informed decisions. We've navigated exceptionally well through these difficult waters of rates moving up, locking at the right times, floating at the right times, capturing a lot of the gain for your customers so they aren't upset later or so they don't miss out. It's important that as an advisor, you have to decide if you're an advisor or not, you do these things. Now, that's just a small part of what we do at MBS Highway. There are so many other tools that you should be looking at and taking advantage of. Give it a try, take a look, but if you do give it a try, look at all the tools in the site. I mean, heck, you need to be smarter than your competition. Otherwise, technology is going to make the job a lot more difficult as it eliminates those that aren't advisors. All right, you guys have a great week ahead. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
In today's wholesale environment, providing our broker community with the best combination of product, pricing, and fulfillment is paramount to their success. With a strong net worth and delivery of high-quality performing loans to the secondary market, it is no secret why many brokers choose PRMG as their wholesale partners. PRMG. We strive to be better in all that we do. Get approved with PRMG today.
This is Mortgage News Network.